Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Delhi Township Board of Trustees meeting for February the 14th, 2018. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by tonight's moment of silence. And tonight's moment of silence is dedicated in the honor and memory and the bravery of the two Westerville police officers killed while on duty, responding to a domestic violence call. Officers Anthony Morelli and Eric Yoring. We mourn with the city of Westerville and these families for their loss. Tragedies such as these serve as a reminder to all of us to pray for the safety of our Delhi officers. And then, today, at 2:20, we were struck with another tragedy. And although the details are not clear yet, we know one thing is for sure, that the students, the faculty, and the families of Broward County, Parkland, Florida, Douglas High School are in need of our prayers. Start now with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And after that solemn moment, if I can just say Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, we will begin with the opening of the meeting. Mr. Luby.
Motion 2018-024, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on January 30th and February 5th, 2018, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2018-024.
I second the motion. All those in favor? Yes. Motion passes. This evening, I would like to note that Trustee Sturts is not with us, so Trustee Davis and myself will be doing a little double duty. Okay?
Motion 2018-025, approve bills for payment.
I will move motion 2018-025 to pay the bills.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2018-026, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending January 30th, 2018.
I'll move motion 2018-026.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Report from the fiscal officer, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2018-013, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the township by the township administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations, and dispensing with a second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
As far as significant transactions since the last meeting, we did have payroll on 2/7 of $217,000. And also this week we did submit our annual unaudited financial statements to the Auditor of State, and those will be on our website shortly. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Luby. Trustees' correspondence, Trustee Davis?
I just have one item, and that seems to be an ongoing item that's just through the years, and that's with, I know we took it up, we talked a little bit in the management meeting on Tuesday with the dumpsters and stuff on Neeb Road, and I see Mrs. Burke is here, but just that we are trying. But I do kind of send this out as a public service announcement to all those that are home watching. There are things that you can and cannot put in those dumpsters, okay? So you want to touch on that, Jack, feel free. For those that are watching at home, I think some think that those dumpsters that we have up there, up by the senior center, we just pitch whatever we want into there, and that's not true, and it's not helping us at all when you're throwing mattresses and everything else. So just an idea, could you just say what exactly they can put up there, just what we're looking for in those recycle bins?
The recycling dumpsters take recycling materials, which would be the plastics or glass or metals, paper. What we see happening, there's a couple things that we see happening. One is people will put a tires, microwave, furniture. They're not dumpsters for solid waste, they're recycling dumpsters. So I think that's one of the things we're fighting with, is people putting stuff that then we have to deal with. I would say most of the time they know that they're probably not supposed to leave that there. Then certainly we are challenged with people put the proper material in, but they may not break it down. And then the containers fill up when it's busy, and then stuff gets put on the ground. Things start blowing around. It creates a mess, and something that we constantly have to deal with from a staffing perspective. So there's some maybe misuse of how people are putting things in the dumpsters. So we've talked about it internally. I've been here a year and have kind of watched it and seen what there is. So we've talked internally about the ways we can attack the situation, the ways we want to attack it. I don't have that scenario of things yet, but we are going to do more to help stop that, and it will probably take some enforcement or citation, something along those lines. So that's to come. I know Mrs. Burke is challenged with this. I don't want to say every day, but a lot of times, and I don't want to see that. And hopefully, we've cleaned up around her house and other locations well enough. But yeah, it is an ongoing hassle. I've been here a year. I haven't been here as long as everybody else, and it's been a headache for me in that year.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Last night, the Delhi Township Veterans Association had a wonderful commemorating ceremony for what is being termed the Vietnam-era veterans. And it was wonderful to see the military brass there actually saying thank you for your service and welcome home. And I've asked Commander Osterfeld during citizens' comments to come up and give a little explanation of exactly what that is. Don, did you want to come up now?
Thank you, Trustee Seavey, and thanks for being at our ceremony last night. I'm going to read right here what the pin was all about. The purpose was to recognize and thank and honor United States military veterans who served during the Vietnam War. And what that means is not actually have to be in Vietnam. There is the DoD, Department of Defense, has stated the dates what the Vietnam era was, and the eligibility is living United States veterans who served on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces at any time during the period of November 1st, 1955 to May 15th, 1975, regardless of location. And that's the key word, location. Regardless of location, are eligible to receive one lapel pin. These lapel pins will be presented in a dignified manner to each Vietnam veteran during a public event held in their communities. Accompanied remarks should reflect the nation's thanks for their service and sacrifice. And as Trustee Seavey said before, I'll further elaborate on it. We had a Colonel Fellinger, he lives here in Delhi, facilitated the thing, and he had two of his guests. One was a brigadier general, and the other one was a captain in the Navy, and their wives helped to pass out these pins. And we had a full house, and I think there was 30 or 31 or 2 veterans that received these pins. Thank you.
No, thank you, Commander Osterfeld, and thank you to the Delhi Township Veterans Association for your service, too.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have cause for a public hearing this evening with Public Works. Fiscal Officer Luby?
Motion 2018-027, approve the opening of the public hearing for 2018 construction, repair, and maintenance of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters along various township streets.
I will move motion 2018-027.
I second the motion. All those in favor? Yes. Motion passes. All right, the hearing is now open, correct? All right, Mr. Ripperger, Director of Public Works, let's hear from you.
Thank you, trustees. This public hearing is to notify the property owners of the necessary repairs to be made in the right-of-way. Over 90 letters have been mailed out to inform the residents of the public hearing, their cost estimate, and how our sidewalk program works. According to our township sidewalk policy, a homeowner has the option of either repairing it themselves or having it done in connection with our yearly street rehabilitation project. If the resident chooses to have the township's contractor do the repair, they will have the option to pay in full after the project is complete or put on their taxes. And I also wanted to let the board know that we have taken a good amount of phone calls, met with some residents, and answered a lot of questions.
Okay. Do I have anyone here this evening with a public comment regarding the sidewalk rehabilitation program? Sir, can you come up and identify yourself and your address, please?
My name is Joe Mullen. I live at 5207 Whitmore Drive. I'm sort of curious how the bidding process is going to take place. I mean, how many people are you going out to, or are you going to wait for the contractors to contact you, or what?
Okay, Ron, do you want to take us through that? This is the kind of a standard procedure for everything that goes out for bids, so let's review that.
There's a revised code we have to follow, and it'll go out in mailings, and then we don't know how many contractors will bid on it, anywhere from 0 to 8. I mean, normally it's about 3 to 6 contractors.
I mean, are you going to go with a lot of different contractors, or just you're going to select a few?
Well, it just depends on who put in for it. We don't have any control over that. It's an open bid.
It's a public process where we're prescribed to put it out, and who's ever bids on it, we don't control that.
They contact you, then?
Well, they submit a bid by a certain date. It's sealed. We have to open those, and it's the lowest and best bid. We don't have the ability to choose just any one of them. So as long as they're a reputable contractor, it's basically whoever's the lowest bidder.
And then those bids are opened here in public by Fiscal Officer Luby.
Okay.
So you'll have a chance to hear everyone who submitted a bid and what their amounts were. So it's all, very open.
When will that take place? Do you have any idea?
Ron, do you have a date yet?
The end of March, we'll open a bid, so we'll have the information 1st of April.
You can follow the agenda on the website, and it will show that we will be opening the bids.
Okay. I've spoke to a couple of individuals, and they've given me some information.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Great. All right, if there's no further public comments, we are not going to close this hearing this evening because there are not 3 trustees here, but we will continue it in progress. And Mr. Luby, could we have the motion, please?
Motion 2018-028, continue in progress the public hearing for the 2018 construction, repair, and maintenance of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters along various township streets to the February 28th, 2018 Board of Trustees meeting.
I will move motion 2018-028.
I second the motion. All those in favor? Yes. Motion passes. All right, let's hear from administration then. Mr. Luby, may I have the resolution?
Resolution 2018-014, resolution authorizing and entering into a First Amendment to the Administrative Services Agreement with Custom Design Benefits, LLC, amending agreement authorized by Resolution 2017-239 in connection with the provision of certain self-insured group health benefits for eligible township employees and officers, authorizing the township administrator to execute and deliver all necessary documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution, please.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution?
I'll move to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-015, resolution authorizing and entering into a First Amendment to the Tri-Health Hospital Services Agreement and a First Agreement to the Tri-Health Physician Services Agreement with Tri-Health, Inc., amending the agreement authorized by Resolution 2017-240, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute and deliver all necessary documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution, please.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution?
Move to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution? Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Resolution passes. I have nothing from Parks and Recreation. Congratulations on your sold-out event. For those of you who are still interested in going to 80 Minutes Around the World beer tasting, good luck. You're late. It's sold out. He is taking a waiting list. Community Development then, Mr. DeLong.
Resolution 2018-016, resolution providing for the removal of accumulated debris at 324 Clare Knoll Court and dispensing with the second reading.
Introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, actually, this nuisance actually started with two separate violations. They did have two vehicles on the property that appeared to be junk motor vehicles. We want to thank them for cleaning that up, and they were removed prior to this meeting. But as of today, we still have the debris, as you see back here on the back deck above the it's a second-story deck, and there's some debris below it too. It was in that condition as of this morning, so we do request that you declare it a nuisance.
Okay.
I move to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-017, resolution providing for the removal of a junk motor vehicle at 5174 Rapid Run Road and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution again, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, back in 2016, the board actually declared these two junk motor vehicles a nuisance on this property, but due to the process we were under at that time, we were unable to remove them. In 2017, as we discussed previously at previous meetings, Resolution 2017-304 is now allowing us to start removing vehicles again. So we do request that you declare this property a nuisance again so we can have both those junk motor vehicles removed.
I will move to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Nothing from Public Works or Police Department, but Chief Campbell Fire Department.
Resolution 2018-018, resolution entering into collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Firefighters Association and dispensing with the second reading.
Introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion on this resolution, Chief Campbell?
No, this is a 3-year contract in terms of wages. This is something that we've essentially been working on with our main focus on retention and recruitment for part-time paramedics. So we think this contract will go a long way in doing that.
Okay.
Move to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution. All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading? Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Motion 2018-029, approve the hiring of Matthew Presnell as part-time firefighter EMT in the fire department after a successful drug screen and background check and at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Firefighters Association effective February 14th, 2018.
I move motion 2018-029.
I second the motion. All those in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion 2018-030, accept the resignation of part-time firefighter paramedic Douglas Lale effective February 14th, 2018.
I will move motion 2018-030.
I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion passes. No other citizens' comments for this evening, so we'll move. Do we have a correction?
Which I did the hire already.
Oh, sorry. I was making a comment to the chief, but one thing I wanted to point out in regard to the part-time, full-time, and we've talked about it. Mr. Davis is not new to this arena, but newer to this time. The fire service is challenged on the part-time front anymore. It used to be a strong model that you could find so many part-timers that it wasn't a problem. But part of the attack we had with the part-time contract was trying to deal with the present situation of trying to hire part-time firefighter EMTs. Then you'll see the hiring we did tonight, which was fortunate, but it was one of 6 that we were trying to hire.
Got it.
So we are going to be looking at some staffing changes and pushing forward some more full-time hires, because if we don't, we're going to be stuck without enough people to staff potentially over time. So I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that a little bit, and I know we've talked about it before, and I know we've talked about it with Mr. Davis, but it's the reality of.
A few years ago, a firefighter could make a career of being a part-time firefighter in more than one location. Is that correct, Doug?
Yes, that's correct, and many of them did that.
And then when the Affordable Care Act came in and there was limitations on the 30-hour limit and so on, it's been an evolving change from the part-time to the full-time, and it's been going over the last couple years. So if you follow these meetings, you will see very often we are hiring additional part-time and recognizing the resignation of other part-times. Most of those part-time that I can think of and remember, Doug, were leaving us to go to full-time positions.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, what we pride our service here in Delhi is a full paramedic service that requires us to have 3 paramedic ambulances ready to go as much as possible to cover the township. What we've seen and what we've experienced, like everywhere else in the greater Cincinnati area, is we had a small part-time or small full-time paramedic staff, and we were supplemented with part-time paramedics. And just 5, 6, 7 short years ago, the majority of our part-time staff were paramedics. I mean, you're talking 85 to 90% of my part-time staff were paramedics, with a full-timer off, injured, sick, vacation, however it be. I had the part-time paramedic staff to supplant that. Now, because we haven't hired a paramedic, I think, part-time in at least the last 9 to 10 months, and that's one. And then previous to that, as soon as we have an EMT that becomes a paramedic, they leave our department to go full-time somewhere else just because we don't have the hiring frequency that these other agencies do. So now, without having part-time paramedics, we have, it strains the system. It becomes essentially the only way to get a paramedic to join Delhi Township Fire Department is to hire them full-time. That's essentially what we've come down to, because it's very hard to recruit them from everywhere else part-time.
Just been an entire shift in the part-time, full-time, number of employees. So
complete reversal. Yes.
Good. All right. Congratulations on the contract.
Yes. Thank you.
All right then. Announcement of community events.
The Delhi Branch Library Program, Black Citizens Who Made a Difference in the 19th Century Cincinnati, will be Thursday, February 22nd from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Delhi Branch Library at 5095 Foley Road. The Parks and Recreation Department sample beer from around the world in 80 minutes is sold out, and that event will be Friday, February 23rd from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Delhi Park Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. That's all we have.
Okay, one thing that I forgot to mention, and mea culpa, the DCPA put on a fundraiser last weekend and did a tremendous job called Mardi Gras. And I want to thank everyone who came out and supported the Delhi Citizens Police Association, because it was a great event. Special thanks to all the hard work of Erin Winkler-Back. She did a tremendous job as a hostess in getting the whole thing going, and it was a great evening. And thank you very much for all the hard work that went into that. So we can adjourn this meeting. There is no executive session. So you want to adjourn?
Yes, let's make a motion to adjourn.
All right, with no further business to be brought before this board, we've moved to adjourn. Thanks, everyone.